Hi there, this is Jason from Myplace Estate Agents, and I'll be running you through the standard form residential tenancy agreement today. So this is the same form that we use for all our tenancy agreements. It's a standard form, so all the laws and bylaws underneath are in accordance with the Residential Tenancies Act and regulation. On the first page, you'll find information regarding the term of the agreement, landlord and tenant details, as well as our own agency details and the start and ending date of your lease. The most important thing here is just to make sure that all the spelling is correct, that the term agreement dates are correct, and that everything is spelt correctly as well. Moving on, you'll find the second page will have information about the residential premise itself, if there's any parking, storage available, if it's unfurnished or furnished, the rental amount per week that's been agreed upon to previously. This can be weekly or monthly. If you are paying fortnightly, then you can just go ahead and transfer 2 weeks, though it still might say weekly on the lease. You'll find information about when your rent is due. For most of you, all of you in fact, you'll have paid at least 2 weeks in advance or a month in advance. So the next rent payable will be either a month or 2 weeks from the payable starting date. And the account that it's transferred into is the Myplace Trust account, which is the same account you have used to deposit and pay the second week's or remainder of the month's rent. The only difference now is that you'll be using the payment reference number on the bottom right-hand corner instead of your last name, and this will automatically log it into our system every time you make a payment. Scrolling down, you'll find the rental bond amount. So, for example, on this lease, it's $3,000. The rental bond is almost always 4 weeks' rent and paid directly to the Rental Bonds Board. You would have already paid the bond online before signing this lease, and if you haven't yet, please make sure you do. Maximum number of occupants. So you've got here a hypothetical 3 people living at the premise at one time. Obviously, it will change depending on your own circumstance, whether you have kids or a spouse or it's just yourself. With the urgent repairs, if you've got anything that requires immediate attention, for example, a burst pipe, or you have no working lavatory systems, you're welcome to contact our preferred tradesman. We're usually pretty handy and you can get us on the phone most days of the week, 7 days a week, if you just try calling us first. If you've got any repairs that can wait, then we ask that you email them to us and we'll attend to them in due course. These are things that aren't necessarily urgent and can be dealt with in time. Water usage. So if you are living in an apartment block that's not separately metered, you won't be required to pay for water usage, but if it is separately metered or you're in a house, then you will be required to pay for the usage component, and we'll bill that to you every 3 months. Utilities, this is up to you to connect. For electricity and gas, you can use whichever providers you like. If there is an embedded network, some complexes have their own providers that supply that particular building. We'll provide you with the necessary information to set up an account with them beforehand. But in most cases, you will either contact your own provider or you can use our company that we employ to help us with this is Direct Connect, and they can set up your utilities free of charge. Smoke alarms. So in the apartment, there'll be smoke alarms. They get serviced either by Strata, We would have checked them beforehand before you've moved in using either our own employed company detector inspector, or the owner may have already checked them as well. Either way, we'll make sure that they're working before your tenancy and throughout your tenancy as well. If there's any issues with smoke alarms, please just let us know, and usually there's a simple fix to getting it all sorted out. Strata bylaws. If you're living in a apartment block, there'll be bylaws that will be given to you before signing this lease. They're general things about being a good neighbor, not being too loud, whether pets are allowed in the building or not, common sense laws, and some other laws as well, which may be a bit more obscure. For example, some apartment blocks don't allow you to hang laundry out on the balcony. Giving notice and other documents electronically. So we would prefer that everyone is able to be given notices and documents electronically. It will enable for more efficiency, and this area just ensures that you're happy with that. The condition report. We would have provided you with a condition report just before moving in, and this would outline the condition of the property. We usually note if there's any damages. We take pictures of almost everything, and you have a chance as well to fill out your condition report and return it to us within 1 week from the start of your tenancy. This will act as a reference for when you move out, so if there's any damages, we can refer back to something and have a record of it. Feel free to take any pictures as well if you like. Tenancy laws. So now we've come to the standard term of agreement. Have a read through this and make sure it all makes sense to you. It'll have information about rent increases, the kind of notice you need to give before ending your lease, information about breaking the lease and what urgent repairs are consisted of, as well as information about subletting, smoke alarms, and the rest. There's quite a lot of information here, so just make sure you read through it clearly and understand. For some of the additional terms, for example, swimming pools, if your apartment or complex doesn't have a swimming pool or it's a shared swimming pool, then obviously the clause will not apply to you. Moving on to the last page, we have the signatures. So for each tenant signing the lease, one signature will be required by each tenant, 2 on this page and 1 on the next, so 3 in total. The first signature for the first tenant is on this line here, and it's just basically acknowledging everything that you've read in the previous pages about the terms of this lease. The second signature will be here, where the tenant information statement is. We'll provide this to you before the lease starts, and this statement outlines your rights as a tenant from New South Wales Fair Trading. And finally, on the last page, you have the additional terms, which are the Myplace additional terms that we've added. And this again is standard to every lease that we sign. They're mostly common sense terms that help to draw clear boundaries for the tenant and the landlord. If there's anything extra or any other terms that are special to your lease, we will obviously let you know beforehand and bring it to your attention. However, everything you're seeing today on this lease sign-up tutorial is specific to no one and is applied generally. So if you're happy with these, pop another signature on the last page. That's 3 signatures in total per person signing the lease. I hope this video was informative for you. Please give us a call if you've got any questions. We're always available and happy to help. Have a nice day.